a headline telling us that the judge in the Hostess case has now okayed the liquidation. They're going to be able to launch the liquidation of this case. Judge Robert Drain ruling on that. We're waiting for more confirmation. Kayla Town, she's working the story. As you know, yesterday the union went back to mediated talks with the company to try and work something out. The judge was urging them to do that, to try and save the 18,500 jobs that were on the line in this issue. But they came back empty-handed when that hearing began at 11 a.m. Eastern Time this morning, and now Judge Drain is green-lighting the liquidation of Hostess, which is what the company was after at this point anyway.
The wind-down plan, and Kayla Tao, she's right outside the bankruptcy court in White Plains. As soon as we've got more details, we're going to get to Kayla and give you a sense of what's going on in that court. Meanwhile, incredibly, the Bakers Union chief, Frank Hurt, was not present at the last-ditch mediation talks yesterday. Hostess Greg Rayburn was there. Joining us now, once again, is Bakers Union member Mike Hummel. Mike worked at a Wonder Bread factory. Also with us is Justin Wilson, managing director of the Center for Union Facts. Good to see you both. Thanks for joining us. Mike, thanks for joining us once again. Why wouldn't the head of the union go to the mediation that a judge ordered?
Well, I love the framing of this, like he didn't go for some particular relevant reason. The fact is that they announced that they were going to have mediation, and you have to be able to go there.
So why didn't he go?
Well, right, but the meeting was in the morning, I believe. You have to get there first, and Frank Hurt's all over the country doing stuff. Not that it even matters. I mean, the fact is that Frank Hurt is retiring.
Is there anything more important than this? I mean, the company's liquidating now, so I know he's all over the country, but
right.
is there anything more important than this on this day to be at that court hearing?
There are lots of things. There are lots of things more important than that mediation meeting. Yes. The fact is that you can't negotiate with terrorists, and if these people are going to steal our pension, and that's what mediation is for, then that's not on the table for me. I'm sorry.
Michael,
as far as Frank Hurt not being there.
All right. That's sort of a side story. I get what you're saying there, Mike. When you were with us on Monday, you made it clear that you felt the job being offered to you was not worth taking, that you'd rather take the unemployment, which you feel you'd get more money from than you would from this job. Now that the company has been green-lighted to liquidate, what happens to your job? Your union bosses have said that they are convinced you will make Wonder Bread again if this brand is bought by somebody else. What do you expect to happen now based on what you've been told?
I expect to make Wonder Bread at the Lenexa Bakery with my union brothers and sisters again. Yes, I do. And I believe that Frank Hurt has handled this excellently, and he has nothing but my support. He has that he wasn't at that meeting and nobody cares because all of the other ranking union members were at that meeting. I mean, the fact that he wasn't able to attend is really like, I mean, this guy, this is a non-point that the company is trying to throw against us.
What was it a message, you know, to the bosses at the company?
No,
Look,
he did not.
Showing up. Justin, what about you? What's your take on the union board skipping the final talks, Justin?
I mean, it's insulting, and it's such a clear indication that he had no interest in actually settling this. You know, we've got airplanes for a reason, and if I had been him, I would have been on the first airplane to get to that meeting, if only to show that I actually cared about these jobs. What's obvious, though, is that he was willing to walk 18,000 jobs off the cliff in order to save the rest of his industry, or at least trying to stop any future concessions from being made. But what's really wrong here is that, you know, just because a few of these union employees who actually wanted to go on strike decided to, they walked off the cliff with, you know, 18,000 other people who are not going to have a job on Monday. And if they wanted one, there's nothing they could have done about it.
Justin, isn't it possible that the company wasn't going to go into these talks yesterday with any more good faith than the union did, because both sides had nothing to gain by going back to work again? The company wanted to liquidate because they feel the parts are worth more than the sum, and the union didn't feel they had a good enough deal on the table to go back to work, so nobody wanted to go back to work. Don't you think that's possible?
Look, it's pretty clear that the company and the Teamsters union that represents the majority of those employees wanted to create a deal that would not have been trying since early in 2012 to try to work some way of maintaining a going concern. But you know what? The union is basically giving any potential future investor in this company a lot of reasons to not purchase it in anything other than a full liquidation. You know, think of it this way: if you're an investor, would you want to inherit this as your union negotiator? Absolutely not.
What about that, Mike? You say you're going to keep making Wonder Bread. There aren't any takers.
That's not true. There are lots of offers out there. They are negotiating all the time for new offers.
Isn't it possible, Michael, that you'll go back to work? Isn't it possible, Michael, you go back to work as a non-union worker, though?
It is possible. We'll find out. I will go back to work if the opportunity is in front of me. Well, again, we went over this Monday, it would be if it was the right company trying to do the right thing. These current owners that we have are not bakers. They don't wake up in the morning and say, how can we make a better quality product more efficiently? They wake up and say, how can we strip the union of their rights, and how can we sell off the individual brands like Butternut and Dolly Madison and Drake Cake and all those individually without the union responsibilities? And that is what they're trying to do.
Well, the reason that they're trying to do that is because of the union liability that's been created with these brands, right? They have no interest in breaking up this company, but there's economic realities that they have to face. They have 300 bargaining agreements. They're invested in more than 40 union-run pension funds that are all in the red. They have an enormous liability associated with the inflexibility of the union that represents them.
Pay their share.
When you have liabilities like that, and you have no one who's willing to invest in a company, at some point or another, the union has to at least take a little bit of the blame. This union has got such arrogance, the hubris associated with the fact that they just want to blame Bain-style capitalists. It's just really frustrating.
That's not arrogant? What if that's the fact? How is arrogance a part of that? The fact is,
the union will take absolutely no responsibility for the role that it's played in this, and yet it's walked everyone.
That's not true. You don't even know the role of the union in all of this.
You want to bring Kayla Tausche into the conversation.
She's outside the courthouse there.
She's got the headlines on this liquidation. Go ahead, Kayla. Over to you.
Maria, a bankruptcy court judge here in White Plains, New York, has approved the wind-down plan submitted by Hostess Brands today. Now, the one thing that is conditional is that employee retention plans as well as management incentives will be subject to final approval next Thursday. But apart from that, almost every single part of the plan submitted by Hostess was approved. They will be eliminating 15,000 jobs, cutting down from 18,500 to 3,200. Management will stay in place. There had been a motion to change this from a Chapter 11 bankruptcy to a Chapter 7 bankruptcy, since they were liquidating. That changed things. But the judge actually held up the Chapter 11, saying that the current management has done a good job. Judge Drain here in White Plains actually ended his statements by saying that he was very impressed with the current management, that they're obviously separate from the previous management that did not run the company correctly. He also praised both union and non-union employees, saying that they did a good job as well. But that is the latest, Maria, here from bankruptcy court in White Plains.
All right, Kayla, thank you very much.
Kayla.
Mike, what do you think of what you heard there? The judge impressed with management and with the unionized and non-unionized workers here. I mean, it feels like everybody was trying to do their part to try and keep this company together.
And still look at all the job losses.
Right.
Well, frankly, I don't consider my job lost yet. Someone is going to purchase Wonder Bread, and they are going to continue to make Wonder Bread, and we'll find out
You're not going to have a paycheck on Monday. I mean, you're not going to have a. This is not going to be on Monday or Tuesday.
2 weeks.
You know, you're not going to have a paycheck though for months. And you know, the thing is, you seem to be perfectly fine with this, but because you're pro-union, a small group of employees that are pro-union,
I'm actually pro-me. I'm not pro-union. I'm pro-me.
One at a time, guys.
To be fair, right, there's the trouble with American labor laws is that a small cadre of pro-union employees were able to sink an entire company, where you've got tens of thousands, or at least 10,000 employees who had absolutely no want or wish to see this happen. There's 7,500 Teamsters who are willing to take these concessions and keep their job. Look at it this way. There's no rational actor. There's no rational actor that would tell you a job on Monday at slightly reduced wages is better than no job at all. Or excuse me.
Okay.
What about that, Mike?
Where does slightly reduced come in?
8%.
What does slightly reduced wages mean? No, it's 27% over 5 years. It can be 8% per year all you want.
Your paycheck would have been 8% less on Monday.
Over 5 years. Right, but it would have been 27% less over 5 years.
If you didn't want the job, that's fine, but there's other people that need money this holiday season.
But they were stealing my
pension
at the same time.
But look what happened now.
Okay.
Yeah, you have nothing. You're going to be in PBGC.
What
You're
has
going to see
happened
even
now?
less
Nothing has
money.
happened now.
Wait a minute, Mike Hummel, the assumption that we're making is that when you get a job back, if you get your job back, well, Wonder Bread, it's a non-union job, and therefore you're probably going to get fewer benefits. And
I don't know why
pay.
you would make such a silly assumption as that I would be a non-union baker. Yeah, but they haven't. Liquidation means they're selling. We don't know who's going to buy it.
Why would anybody? Wait a minute. Why, if anybody's going to buy this company, why would they end up paying more in wages than they would have otherwise? You know, it makes no sense. You're going to make money somehow.
Okay, well, first off, that's okay. Well, you're jumping to conclusions. I mean, the fact is that if you're a real bakery, if you're a company purchasing us because you want to have a quality product produced in, frankly, the safest food processing plants you could ever be at, with trained and experienced workers, you would go union, and there are actually plenty of buyers that are talking
going to go
about
union with a union boss.
You can say no one all day. You don't know that.
We got to go. I'm sorry. We're out of time.
Come back, though. We want to continue this discussion.